Welcome back, everybody. It is April the 28th, 2022, and we're here for another edition of New Guitar Day. But we wanted to start, before we do the usual, just to show there was a little bit of damage on the box. But based on my experience, it doesn't seem to be critical, so I accepted it from the UPS guy. But anyways, we will proceed after taking a momentary break. Just wanted to make a note of the condition of the box. So don't go away. Okay, we're back. We just need the kitty to stay for 2 seconds so we can make the kitty disappear. And the kitty has disappeared. I'm going to go ahead and pull the inner box out, spare you that because all the packing material. And yet again, I will be right back. Okay, so we're back. As you can see, we have another Epiphone, and after having not such good luck with my first Epiphone Casino Coupe, having incredibly good luck with my second Epiphone Casino Coupe, I thought that I would go for a full-size Casino, and this is the Worn edition, which has been out of stock for quite a while because of supply chain issues. So, this was advertised as being brand new. It was purchased from Musician's Friend, but it was sourced out of a Guitar Center because they're sending them out to Guitar Centers because their stores are lacking inventory. And this came from Denver, Colorado. And they said that it had not been taken out of the box. And my first indications are that looks to be true, just the way the magic shroud, and they've definitely changed their shroud material. Just going to pop my hand in here and feel that neck. I don't feel any cracks. Doesn't mean there aren't any. I'm going to pull it out. This is in the olive drab. And I've just read some really good reviews about this guitar. The main things that I've read about it was, in their infinite wisdom, fret ends feel nice. A little bit of typical Epiphone action jacked up to the roof. It's just what they do. Fretboard, Indian Laurel, but it looks like it's a nice dark. There's definitely some roughness on the finish, but I'm not going to worry about such things. I'm just going to give it a 1-over. It actually looks pretty cool. They say this is a medium C. Feels okay. Looks good. Supposed to have the CTS pots, the slightly lower output P90s. I can't get over that action though. That is just absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Well, I'm just going to go tune it up. I mean, again, I always give it the 5 second, just look for the obvious. I'm always paranoid with this style guitar that there's going to be a headstock break, and there doesn't seem to be anything at all. The Worn finish is definitely sort of goofy and cheap looking, but I have to agree with some of the people that have reviewed this guitar that it could very well be the saving grace and what makes this guitar different, because it's more resonant. And this was a 2021 December. So that's how long it took to get here, the end of April. So I'm going to give it a whirl, and I'll be back, because I feel like whirling. Off I go. And welcome back again. It is April the 28th, 2022. It's about 5:10 in the evening now. I've put this guitar through its paces, and I'm here to give you the first impressions. I'm absolutely stunned. on how much I like this guitar. Now, given it's the first day, and we've seen the tides change on other guitars as the days pass by, but this is my first day impression that I'm just absolutely very impressed with this guitar. The only thing I don't love is the worn finish, but that's one of the things I do love about this guitar. I mentioned it earlier before I played the guitar, that the worn finish, other than the thick poly that you normally get on guitars, really lets this guitar resonate. So, and I can't say that I love the color, I don't hate it. I'm thinking I probably would have enjoyed the ebony one more, but I like the color. The fit and the finish on this guitar is outstanding for what would be considered a budget guitar. The fret ends are much smoother than I gave credit to when I first pulled it out of the box. Playing it, they're actually very nice. It tuned up really quick. I stretched the strings a couple times and it holds its tune. It's got great tone. The thing that puzzles me about this guitar is this is obviously the cheapest full-size Casino that you can get, and this has the Epiphone Pro P90s, whereas the Casino for $699 has, I think it's a classic P90s. What's the difference? I don't know, but I have read and seen videos online that say that this has a sweeter tone, and I can't compare it to a regular Casino because I haven't played one. I did have a Casino Coupe earlier, before the Unicorn one that I have that has the Riviera pickups in it, and I thought the pickup sounded okay, but these sound really good, really good. And this has the CTS pots, and the $699 Casino doesn't. They say, some people have said this has the Switchcraft switch. I don't think it is, or the output jack, but they both work great. This has no rattles in the bridge, no rattles in the tailpiece. Again, the action was ridiculously high, but I lowered it. No buzzing, doesn't choke out anywhere. The frets are a little bit, I don't know if it's dirty or just corroded or oxidation, but I just play it out. I'm too lazy to take the strings off and to polish the frets. And I find if I just play it for a couple days, the stuff comes off. So, very pleased. The neck profile, it's a little smaller than I'm used to, but you know, that's one of the reasons why I like different guitars. If I wanted the same thing, then I would just buy the same guitar over and over again. The profile of this neck is very similar to my Dan Electro. It is a C profile. It is thin in the sense, when people say thin, I think sometimes they mean this. This isn't thin. This is a little thinner, but it's not flat. And I don't like the slim taper D necks at all. In fact, it's kept me away from buying quite a few Epiphones. So I like the profile of the neck. It's a little rough, but people have said with playing, it smooths out. The roughest part that I can feel is where they did the two-piece heel cap, and up here where they did the scarf joint. And it's already smoothing out here, and I never play this high anyway, so it wouldn't matter. And again, obviously this isn't a guitar for shredders. People talk about one of the things about the Casino and the first iteration of the ES330 is that the neck joins the body at the 15th fret, and it sort of keeps you from playing in the upper regions. Well, I don't play up there that much anyway, so I don't notice a big difference. So to me, it's not a big deal. But I'm thoroughly impressed with this guitar, especially at the price point. I think it's really nice that they offered a lower priced, and again, the satin finish is, you know, as everyone says, it's an acquired taste. It does look a little cheap, but it plays so nice that any feelings that you have of a cheap finish sort of disappear pretty quick. At least they do for me. So I'm very pleased, very impressed. I will be back in a week or two. We'll see if my enthusiasm still holds strong after playing it for a week or two. I have a feeling it's going to. Again, I'm so cheap that I'll keep the factory strings on it a lot longer than I should, but they work. I mean, my fingers were dirty after playing for the first half hour, just factory string scum, you know. I mean, I'm sure they use the crappiest strings, but it still sounds good. I'm really impressed. In fact, this guitar might, if I decide not to be lazy, I just really like the look of the frequencator tailpiece. It just has that crazy look. So I'm thinking at some point I may put that on this guitar. Because it comes on the Riviera. I'm either going to put it on this guitar or maybe my Grote jazz guitar. But that's just in the future. And I also bought some shims. I'm not sure if I'm going to shim this guitar or not. I've been told just by various sources that P90s like to be close to the strings. This one could probably come up a bit. This one's probably okay. But even as it sits, it sounds fine. It doesn't sound weak. Doesn't sound anemic at all. And again, it just really plays really nice. Really, it's a nice guitar. Really impressed. And again, they've come a long way. The first guitars that I saw in 2019, a lot of the Indian laurel boards were just really, I call them cadaver wood, because they look like flesh with the blood just taken out, right? They were just sort of an ash gray, and they were really ugly. And this looks fine, and I'm guessing with some lemon oil on it, it'll be even richer. But it has nice grain on it, nothing too crazy, no different colors and stuff. So, sorry, the phone rang, had to go for a moment, but I'm back. So anyways, impressions, just really pleased. Never owned a casino. I mean, I've got the coupe, and it's its own thing, and I really like it. But this just really speaks to me. It really has a nice, shiny, sweet, and again, I think a big part of the reason why this one sounds the way it does is because of the worn finish. Because I just don't think it's, you know, especially with a semi-hollow or a hollow body guitar, I think that the thick poly finishes just really sort of kill the vibration. And, you know, this is a thin finish. You can just feel how thin it is. And it's funny, just where my arm has rested, it's already smoothed out. So I do have a feeling that as time goes on, wherever you touch this guitar, I can already feel it on the neck. The neck is already smoother than it was when I first got it. So I have a feeling that that is going to be a benefit. So overall, I'm just incredibly pleased, really pleased. And I got right in there because these have been out of stock. And they showed up in stock, and this came from Denver, Colorado Guitar Center. And I want to thank my musician's friend rep, Jeff Crooks. Interesting last name. The guy's as honest as the day is long. He's probably heard about his last name his whole life. Probably why he's such an honest guy. When your last name is Crooks, you have to be honest. Couldn't be nicer. Was very helpful. Called the Denver store. Asked them if this guitar was brand new. They said it hadn't even been taken out of the box yet, and I can verify that it brand new, hadn't been touched. And that's always nice, because sometimes when you buy a new guitar from a musician's friend, you get some questionable stuff from guitar centers. It's not always a happy ending, but this one's just really nice. And as you can see from a while back, I had the Epiphone inspired by 1966 guitar, and I bought this case, and of course it's a perfect fit for this, so that's always nice too. So I've got a deluxe case for this guitar, so it'll be nice and safe. So anyways, hang in there, have a good week. Let's hope the world's still here a week from now. We're living in really crazy times. I hate to be a purveyor of doom, but the doomsday clock is like at, 15 seconds from midnight. So if I'm not back in a week, you'll know why. You probably won't care why, because you may not be here either. I certainly hope that's not the case, but you have to live with the reality of the world certainly capable of doing terrible things. And my final thought on that is, if we go, I hope I'm blazing in the middle of a hot solo when I see the flash, because that would be apropos to my final moment on planet Earth. Anyways, I'm going to count on cooler heads prevailing. Let's just hope this is just all a bunch of noise and life can go on, because for the people who have yet to live a long, full life that I've been blessed to live, they certainly deserve to have that opportunity, and I would not want to see that taken away from them. So, thank you very much. Enough of that. Yes, I didn't mean to turn this into a sermon. This really is about New Guitar Day, and in fact, it was a wonderful New Guitar Day. Again, this is the Epiphone Casino Worn Series. Comes in 3 colors. Comes in the denim blue. Comes in the ebony, and this is the olive drab. And I think they're an incredible value. As all guitar reviewers will tell you, I can't speak to the whole line, but whoever made this guitar, whatever day this was made in December of 2021. They did a really nice job. The quality control was right on top. They did everything they're supposed to do. The fret ends are nice. The nuts cut really well. In fact, the nut on this is cut better than on my Joe Bonamassa Lazarus. I'm still having issues with my high E string on that guitar, and of course that guitar cost almost 3 times as much as this did. And yeah, so the guy who cut the nut was like asleep at the switch. No big deal. I'll get it fixed and taken care of. But anyways, we'll see you back in a week or a little bit longer. Thank you again. April the 28th, 2022. Welcome back, everybody. It is June the 9th, 2022. It has been exactly 6 weeks since I got this guitar. Normally I come back and do my follow-up videos much quicker. But the truth be told, I've been enjoying playing this guitar so much that this is the first time that I decided to make the commitment, come back, do my secondary commentary, put the video together, and put it out there. So these are my thoughts after 6 weeks of owning and playing this guitar. It's funny because this is my 44th day. Technically, I could send it back to Musician's Friend under their 45-day guarantee, but of course I would never do that. Not only because I really like this guitar, but I wouldn't do that. Whenever I send a guitar back, which is very rare if ever, other than guitars that are damaged or have problems, they usually go back within a day or two. So here's my thoughts on this guitar. I still do not love the color. If I would have had a choice, I would have taken the ebony model. I don't know if I would have liked that in person any better. But I guess olive green sort of grows on you. Given the nature of this guitar, it's an okay color. Does color really matter? It does when you're in a guitar store and you're looking to pick something, but once you pick it up and play it, you close your eyes, the color doesn't matter at all. I still don't love the finish on this guitar. I'm not really sure why. Of course, this is the Epiphone Casino Worn. The finish feels very plasticky to me. It seems like they would have done much better to just use a lighter coating or something that's just a little more organic. Would have been better. But that being said, this guitar really breathes, sustains, it sings, it's very resonant. So whatever the feel to the finger, I think the word is tactile, to the touch, the plastic feel does not translate into the tone at all. I probably mentioned this on the earlier video, the day that I got this guitar. The thing that puzzles me about this guitar is this guitar goes for $200 less than the standard Epiphone Casino made in China. But this one comes with the Epiphone P90 Pro pickups, which, as far as I can tell, are a lower output pickup, which is more in line with what the original Casino would have sounded like. Apparently the real Casino, or the standard model for $200 more, comes with Epiphone Classic P90s, which most people over the years have commented were too hot. They come in at about 12 point something, and these are more in the 8. So this guitar just really sounds great. The other thing I find interesting is this has CTS pots, which I don't believe the one for $200 more does. Go figure on that. Has what they call the Epiphone heavy duty output jack, which is really tight. You have to really shove that cord in there, and there's absolutely no glitching at all. The only defect at all I could find on this guitar, again, I read online reviews, people talk about the rattling bridge and the rattling tailpiece. No rattles on this guitar at all. The fret ends were finished perfectly. The frets were a little scratchy when I first got it. I'm too lazy to take the strings off and polish the frets, so I just played the heck out of this guitar, and before you know it, whatever was on the frets is gone. So the frets feel really smooth. This guitar was as close to perfect as you can get as far as build quality goes. It did have one notable defect, and that was, let's see, you can't really see it, but I'm just pointing out where it was. The binding between the first and the third fret had an edge on it. And my theory is one of three things. I don't know if they paint and then scrape the bindings on Epiphones like they do on Gibsons. But if they do, either someone was just a little too overpowering with their scraping and they scraped just a little too much off the binding, so therefore there was an edge between the binding and the neck. Possibility number two is when they cut the channel for the binding, they cut it a little deep, and so the binding was in there. And yeah, I guess there's only two theories. Anyways, the first couple days I had the guitar, I thought that was a deal breaker because I could just really feel it on my hand and it really bugged me. But I figured everything else about the guitar was good, really good. So I just took a fingernail file, the finest, almost like a buffing file, and over the period of about a week, I just went back and forth a couple times every day because, again, as you know, in sanding, you can never put it back, right? So you don't want to take too much off, and I didn't want to be too rough. And I didn't take any of the finish up. The finish is still nice and present, and there's the slightest edge there, but it's so slight that I don't notice it now, and therefore it doesn't bother me. This guitar, probably tuning-wise, is the most stable guitar I've ever had. I can play this guitar for hours, wipe it down, put it in a case, take it out the next day, and it's either perfectly in tune or incredibly close. So that's a huge plus. And these are just generic, cheap Epiphone tuners. They cut the nut really well. Again, the fretwork, the fret ends are smooth, smooth, smooth. I don't detect any high frets on this guitar at all. I didn't use a fret rocker because I don't do such things, but playing up and down the neck, notice no choking, no buzzing, nothing funny or strange. So in the land of 5 stars, this guitar does get 5 stars. Yeah, it's really an interesting guitar, and like I said, I wish I could fall in love with the color, but you know, the color is the least of my worries. I'm just enjoying playing it. Musician's Friend got these in stock 6 weeks ago. They got like 20 of them, and they still have some. So apparently the rush to get these has calmed down. A few other places got the olive drab in. Nobody has the ebony or the blue. I didn't like the blue. The thing I didn't like about the blue, and this is just me, I didn't like that they didn't match the color of the neck with the body. The blue's like really washed out on the neck. And the only other suggestion I would have made to them is I would have sanded down the neck a little better. The open pores don't really matter on the body. You feel it on the neck, although after you play it, it does smooth out. And, you know, after a while you just get over it. It's the nature of the guitar. But if I would have been them, I would have put a little more effort into making this smooth. Because it's funny, the headstock, they must have used a little filler, because the front of the headstock has absolutely no open pore grain at all. And that's pretty much my report. So this guitar, for the time being, for sure is a keeper. $499, maybe a little expensive. It was $450, and then they did the price hike. I still think it's worth it. If you want a casino that's going to be more in line with what I consider to be the vintage casinos, I think this one is more that. And again, I'm not really sure why they made the decision to put the P90 Classics on the more expensive one that are higher output, and put the lower output P90 Pros on this one, but I'm glad they did, because it really plays and sounds and it feels good. The profile of the neck, I definitely noticed on my Casino Coupe, it definitely has the more of the slender taper D neck. This has a slender taper C neck. There's a little more meat on the back of the neck, not as much shoulder, and it feels good. It feels good. plays good, sounds good. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this guitar. I'm glad I bought it. I bought it on a whim. I had no idea. The videos online pretty much indicated that, again, it's all a matter of taste. You might hate this guitar. I can't tell you whether you're going to like it or not, but you might end up liking it. And the only thing that I may end up doing to this guitar, for no other reason than I can, well, I don't have it now, but I'm going to put a different tailpiece on it. A frequencator tailpiece, just to make it sort of my own. Anyways, there you go. So June the 9th, 2022, warmest day of the year so far. And for here in Great Falls, Montana, that means 78 degrees. Eat your heart out, Phoenix, at 110. Although they might say the same thing to us in the middle of December when it's 25 below zero here. But that's what makes spring and summer sweet up here, is that you have these bitter, long, dark, cold winters. And slowly, we're 78 today, we're supposed to be 77 tomorrow, 72 on Saturday, we go back down into the 50s. Summer is slowly coming, which feels really good. It's nice and gentle, it's not shocking. So, anyways, that ends the review for the Epiphone Casino Warren. Interesting name, Warren. Faded? Warren? No, it's called the Warren. Anyways, thank you very much for joining us. And I have no idea what's coming up next, but we'll just wait and see. Thank you very much. Take care.